Good evening, everyone. My topic is the designated hitter. The designated hitter is only allowed in the National League. The designated hitter is one who bats for the pitcher. The designated hitter favors the offense in the American League. The American League is the only division that has a designated hitter on its roster. During the 1960s, pitching was in the 1960s and 70s, pitching was dominant in baseball. In 1973, Major League Baseball adopted Rule 610, which made the designated hitter an official position of the game. Rule 610 allowed the designated hitter to bat for the pitcher. Rule 610 allowed the designated hitter to bat in place for the pitcher when it was his turn to bat. The designated hitter rule is an option that every American League team uses today. During interleague play and in the World Series, designated rule is only allowed within the American League home game and interplay World Series scenarios. There's an unbalanced scenario to the game by exchanging the pitcher for the designated hitter. Designated hitter rule the report by Assistant Professor Lee Friedman of the University of Michigan titled The Effects of Designated Hitter Rule based on hitting batters. So what ends up happening is when you have a designated hitter who comes up to bat, there was no consequences for the pitcher to hit that batter, which in essence caused more brawls in the game. The American League has created more offense to the game by having the designated hitter. You have to remember that the designated hitter is not a field position. Pinch hitting has always been allowed within the National League and the American League. You have to remember Dodger player Kirk Gibson for the 1988 World Series. First game against the Orioles A's. Was an accomplished baseball hitter who was not a designator by being a pinch hitter. Currently, the National League changes its strategy as it pertains to the way coaches manage their teams and when to allow the pinch hitter to come to bat. The quality of the designated player is the highest paid player on the team. Only a handful of designated hitters have batted over 400. By the American League utilizing the designated hitter, game attendance has increased and added additional runs to the game. In essence, has created more revenue. Eliminating the DH position would reduce the amount of drugs used by older players playing the game, and which was well defined by Jose Canseco's book, The Steroid Era, eliminating. I'm losing my place. I apologize. The position that I have taken is that the designated hitter has and will continue to be a position of the game, but at the same time is not really a team player. Thank you.
All right, Manuel, I think you've got a lot of information in the speech. You've got a lot of ideas. It's just never clear that you know what it is you want to say about this issue, and you really need to be clear about the claim. That's the whole point of the speech. It sounds ultimately Like you have some problem with the designated hitter. It's screwing up the game. It's harming it in some way. It's causing a problem. It's changing the game in some way. But it does sound like you have a criticism of it. At least that's the inference I get. But at other times it sounds like you're simply describing what the designated hitter is, and that's just an informative speech. So you have to have a point of view. Once you get that point of view, then you have to advocate that point of view. And I just didn't hear a set of secondary claims or structure that's advancing a point of view. I got a lot of random information about the designated hitter. It sounds like you could make an argument that says that the designated hitter has created an advantage for the American League. It creates a hitting advantage for them, a competitive advantage in interleague play. It creates an economic advantage for them because it's going to end up drawing more fans to American League teams or something like that. And in the long run, it extends the life of important players or something like that. So those would be the advantages that the American League gets as a result of having the designated hitter rule. I just said it clearer than you did, and you need to kind of have a point of view on what you're saying. I could tell that you had information, but you didn't always cite the sources on it. A couple of times you did cite sources. You mentioned the Kirk Gibson thing, and I'm going, well, why is he talking about this? How does it fit into the argument? It just felt like you rushed through. You're going to watch this again, and you're going to go, that's not what I meant to say. That's not how I went. I know you had a different image in your head of what you were trying to say, but it didn't come out very clearly. So check it and see how you feel about it later. Okay.